Hello, it's Vern. How's it going? So if you're new to these, I'm doing another vlog. If you're new to vlogs, they are video logs where you talk about. No, I'm doing another vlog. Every year or so, it shakes out that way. I like to just do a long unedited video with no production quality whatsoever, no script, no anything. Just like to do a long, uninterrupted, boring vlog that no one watches, just to talk about like kind of where I'm at this space and time. I do these for the benefit of anyone who's interested. I know by the views that no one is. But I also do them for myself, just to kind of remind myself of where I'm at. And this is my last one. My last one of these I did out of my balcony over there. And it was all about Scene in 19, my mantra that I had for the year 2019. So this vlog here is going to be a follow-up to that. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm doing. First off, just TCB here, taking care of business. I'm scheduling this to upload on like the 1st of 2020. If everything goes according to plan, and this does upload whenever I'd like it to. At this current space of time that you're watching this, the one person that will watch it is me. If the time that this goes up, I will actually not be in America. I'll be on vacation in the Philippines. I'll be taking a trip to the Philippines. Really excited. I've never been out of the country before, except for like to Canada. I've never been out of North America before, and I'm really excited to go to a new place, experience a new culture, and all that sort of good stuff. I think it's going to be a good time. I've had a passport for a little over a decade now and never got to use it because I didn't get cast on a game show. That's why I didn't get to use it earlier. But I've renewed it for this trip and everything, and I'm finally getting to go and experience another culture. Really excited about it. And then also just a little bit of like personal stuff. I say a little bit of personal stuff, but this whole thing is personal stuff. Come the year 2020, I'll be living in Utah. Throughout 18 and 19, I was living in Washington, and most of our furniture. This isn't obviously, but most of our furniture is in Utah right now. I've went and kind of sort of set the place up. But throughout 2020, I'm going to be living in Salt Lake City, just a little bit outside of Salt Lake City. And I'm really, really excited about it. I feel, as of right now, who knows what this trip will do, but I feel as of right now, I have the creative energy and just the energy, just in general, physical energy, emotional energy. I just feel like I've got the energy to take on things that I wished I take on I feel like I have the energy to take on things in Utah that I wished I had when I moved to Washington. When I moved here to Washington, I was exhausted and tired and a little out of sorts mentally and emotionally, all that sort of good stuff or bad stuff. But as of right now, in this space of time, the time that I am recording this, I feel really good about this big move. I'm really excited to hit the deck and work on a bunch of new things, and I don't know. I'm really excited about it, and I've got a good feeling about it, and I hope it sticks with me because this is a feeling that I wish I would have had when I moved here to Washington. It's a feeling that I wish I would have had just forever ago. That I very rarely, if ever, feel. And so I'm excited to be feeling it now. So that's what's going on here. So anyway, in the year 2020, I'm starting out with a trip to the Philippines, and I'm moving to Salt Lake City, Utah. Just a hair outside of Salt Lake City, Utah, but for all intents and purposes, Salt Lake City, Utah. So that's little things. My glasses are dirty, and I should have cleaned these before I started, but here we are. You get a rare glimpse of me without my glasses on. No one cares, but here they are. So anyway, here is much better. Now with all that stuff out of the way, here's what I wanted to talk about with this. As I said, last year's vlog, the one I did out there, snow on the ground and everything, was talking all about my mantra for the year 2019, Seen in 19. And this vlog here is going to be a follow-up. This is how did I do in regards to Seen in 19. I feel like, with the exception of, with one really notable exception, and anyone who knows me knows what it is already, but with one notable exception, I feel like I did really good at achieving my goal of Seen in 19. That's how I feel right now. We'll talk about it. As just a refresher, someone is driving really fast outside. As just a refresher, Seen in 19 referred to many things. It referred to one big thing, and I'll get to that. But it also referred to just like smaller things, emotional things with me, mental things with me, but also creative things with me. Seen in 19 was essentially my dog is sniffing the microphone, so if all of a sudden you hear really loud, that's what's going on. My dog is distracting me, and now she's just going to chew on her toy down there. And she's going to lay on the tripod, too, and knock it over a little bit. So this framing is going to get thrown off. No one cares. Seen in 19, whenever I started that last year, it referred to just like, I wanted to make more things in the year 2019. I wanted to take better care of myself mentally and emotionally in 2019. There was a big project I wanted to finish in the year 2019. All these sort of things. I guess like the big kind of takeaway, or the big thing I kind of came into the last vlog I did, the kind of thing I came into that vlog was realizing that making silly things makes me happy. I hadn't been making things. I was unhappy. Maybe I should make things in order to make myself happy. And so 2019, I made an effort to get back on the proverbial horse and make new things. I hope you don't mind. You don't, because you're not watching this. But I made a thing just to remind myself of like what's going on, like what I wanted to talk about, and things that I've done. And I've got it now. So yeah, I made a lot of stuff in the year 2019. My dog is going to town on that. Hey Reagan, come here, baby. This is my dog. Well, she won't let me get it. I tried. Just wanted to get her away from the microphone a little bit. I think she's maybe even closer. Gotcha. This is my dog's toy. Come here, Reagan. Come here. You can't really see her. I do have a dog. Jump up. There we go. I want the people to see you. Okay, so the year 2019, I wanted to make more things, and I feel like I did. I started doing a lot of weird stuff on my Instagram. At a certain point, very end of 2018, I took it upon myself. I made a goal to tell one joke every single day in my Instagram stories. This year, November 8th or so of 2019, I did that. I did one joke every single day on my Instagram stories for a year. It was really fun. At a certain point during the summer, in July, I kind of got in my head that I'd forgotten just how to make jokes, and I didn't even know if I was funny anymore. But I kept trying, kept proceeding on anyway. You probably saw, actually, no, you didn't, because I have like 4 subscribers, so no one saw it. But I uploaded a compilation video, like an hour-long compilation video of all the jokes I did for the year for most of the year 2019, from November 2018 to November 2019. I'll put a link to that at the end of this. But it was really fun just to do terrible dad jokes every day. The whole idea behind it was when I was living in Missouri, me and my friends were doing Puffin every Thursday. And there was this kind of thing like, no matter what's going on in your lives, no matter what's going on Thursdays you get together with your friends and try to be creative. And I realized I was missing that, and I realized that like scheduling is good, or keeping a schedule is good for creative projects and me. And so I was trying to do a joke every day on my Instagram just to remind myself that like there's a time every single day you have to be funny. And my mind was to make my mind work more often at trying to like come up with stuff. And so I think out of all 365 jokes, maybe like 10 of them are really good. But I'm really happy with them. And I got to do some like kind of fun things. Once I established the formula of I'm going to do a joke every single day, I got to play with that formula a little bit. And I got to do like fun things like I did an animated joke. I did like an animated special. I did a joke in French. Terrible French, but French. I did a whole week of Star Trek jokes. My wife fell in love with Star Trek over the year 2019, and I was watching a lot of Star Trek. And I kept writing jokes about it, and so I thought, I'll just lean into it. I did a week of Star Trek jokes, and that was really fun. Star Trek Week has that Vernio aesthetic that people that have been subscribed to me for a long time are familiar with. You know, just one camera set up on me on a green screen that's not well lit at all. But yeah, doing Star Trek Week was really fun. I snorted a little bit there. I did a Halloween themed joke, which was super fun. And I did, for the very last day of that year of doing jokes, on November 8th of 2019, I shared like a little short film that I made about jokes and about where my mind's at with making jokes and why I do what I do and all this stuff. And it wasn't like anything fancy or special or anything. Well, it wasn't anything fancy, but it was something special. I'm super proud of it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. The final joke, as it were. I guess I can link that to somewhere in here at the end of the video. But yeah, it was just really nice to kind of just do something, I want to say bigger. I mean, there wasn't any bigger in terms of just like emotions, bigger on an emotional scale. It was really fun to do that, and I'm glad I did that. So, one of the ways I was seen in 2019 was I did a joke every single day. I want to do some other gimmick or some other thing in 2020 with my Instagram. I've got a few ideas. I haven't fully like settled on this is the one I'm doing, but I got a few ideas. We'll see once we get to 2020 what's going on. But I was doing the joke every day on Instagram. I also did like I was doing like little promo videos for the Puffin Publishing podcast. Puffin persists. First of every month on iTunes and SoundCloud, the Puffin Publishing podcast goes up. It's a improvised sketch comedy podcast that I do with my friends Kevin, Justin, and Joe. We have special guests on every so often. It's all I've talked about it a little bit on the show, on my channel here, but it's just a podcast about all the world's greatest authors living in a house together. But because I'm not a smart person and don't know a lot about books, a lot of it is just like us doing funny jokes. You don't really have to know anything about Mark Twain or F. Scott Fitzgerald or any of this stuff to enjoy or appreciate the podcast. I don't think so. Puffin is really fun. In a lot of ways for me, despite it being its own thing, is kind of like, it's kind of picking up where like Vernio left off, where I ran out of time to do things for Vernio. I do a lot of stuff that I would have done on Vernio, on Puffin. I play Mark Twain on the show, and the first Mark Twain sketch on Puffin was a video idea I had for Vernio, but it ended up being a Puffin thing. And Mark Twain took on a life of his own on that show. I ended up, in the year 2019, I didn't share this with hardly anyone. I shared it with 3 people. But I wrote a feature-length script about Mark Twain called Mark Twain in the Mystical Cave. A bizarre adventure movie where Mark Twain gets canceled. So he goes to a cave in Israel to find secret treasure. It's really awful in terms of just like morals, but there's some funny things in it. I'm kind of proud of it, kind of proud and kind of ashamed of it. But that was the thing I did. So yeah, Puffin happens every month, and that's going to be happening for a long time. So Puffin was another way that I was seen in 19. It was a podcast, so I guess I was more heard in 19 with Puffin. But that's still going, so make sure to check that out. But I started doing little like promo videos for Puffin on my Instagram. Just little short 1 minute long things talking about like what's going to happen this month on the podcast. They're like not animated, they're more like clip show things. I don't know how to describe them, but whatever they are, they're really fun to do. I got to do like crude photoshops and just nonsense with Puffin things, and that's a lot of fun. I do those around the middle of every month, just advertising what's on Puffin that month, and it's also just a fun opportunity for me to like make something, exercise whatever editing muscles I have. They're fun things for me to make, and that's what's important to me, that I like them. Because if you don't like what you're doing, why are you doing it? But I do those on Instagram. I also did like just some random other things. I made a video, like a whack-a-mole thing with the cast of MASH. And then like these weird like trippy loopable kind of videos that were super fun to make. I don't know, I'm gonna do more of those. Because you can only do like 1 minute long videos on Instagram, I don't know, like, and because like it's not, Instagram isn't as terrible as YouTube is, like there's a weird kind of freedom I feel like using Instagram to just like make things and do things. I don't know how to explain it, and it probably sounds weird and bizarre, but it's fun to make these weirdo things on Instagram. I also do like at a certain point on Instagram, I decided to start reviewing movie theaters. Not reviewing movies, but reviewing movie theaters. I try to get a movie theater review up once a month. I don't know, it's just fun to do. Fun to talk about things that I'm interested in. So there's all that. Let's see if there's anything else I forgot to mention as far as Instagram goes. I don't think there is. I just like doing jokes, and whatever the next bit is going to be on Instagram, I'm going to enjoy doing that. Enjoy the movie theater reviews, and enjoy the random other videos, and Puffin promos, and all that stuff. If you're interested in following me on Instagram, I'm at Varnio. It's like this channel's name, but with an A instead of an E. Instead of VERNYO, I am VERNYO. Instead of that, I'm VARNYO. Whenever I started Instagram, it said Vernio was taken, so it became Varnio. And whatever, I like it a little bit better, so it all works out. So yeah, if you want to check me out on Instagram, do it. Or don't, it's fine. I mentioned Puffin, and I mentioned podcasts. One of the things that's going to be happening in the year 2020, and that I started a little bit and worked on a little bit in 2019, is another podcast I'm doing with my friend Kevin. Kevin and I, whenever we lived together, when we were roommates, we had this habit of starting a conversation and it being a serious conversation and just talking about whatever, and then it just slowly becoming just us doing bits together. And we decided we missed that, so we started doing a podcast that's just that. It's just half an hour or so of us doing bits. It's that podcast. We've recorded like 5 or 6 episodes of it, but that podcast is going live in the year 2020, and that's called Kevvern. Not Kev Vern, but Kevern. It's a combination of the word Kevin and Vern. So Kevern. I almost forgot how to spell my name. But that's a really fun thing to do. I like talking with my buddy Kevin. Kevin and I did Doomed to You together, our web series. And it's always fun just to make things with Kevin. Kevin sees things in a different light than I do. Not in a bad way, in a better way. And so it's fun just to kind of like, because through working with him, I can kind of make things that I never would have imagined and kind of see things comedically I would have never seen before. Emotionally, I've never seen before in terms of storytelling. Always fun working with my buddy Kevin. I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the future. I don't know. There's big things Kevin and I would like to do with each other. It just hasn't happened yet. When you live on two opposite ends of the U.S., it's hard to work out scheduling and timing and all that sort of good stuff. Plus, we're both super busy people. But Kevern is happening in 2020. We recorded a handful of episodes already, and I really enjoy it. I really hope my dog's chewing on her plastic toy is not horribly distracting to the one person who's watching this. So that's a thing that's happening. Let's check the list here. Other things I did in 2019 that were really fun and kind of went towards that Scene in 19 goal I had. Every Friday on my Facebook, I post a picture of Laura Dern. I've been doing that for almost 2 years now, which is bizarre and maybe frightening. The whole idea behind it is just that, like, Facebook sucks. It's kind of terrible. And it's because everyone posts awful, hateful, terrible things on it. And it's all, like, politicized nonsense. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but you know what? It's been sitting on my chest. I want to get it off my chest, so let's just go ahead and do it. I don't broadcast as kind of how I feel politically. I feel like anyone who talks to me can kind of just glean how I feel politically. And I get really frustrated because, like, there's certain pages and certain folks that I've liked and that I interact with on Facebook that, like, would make it a dead giveaway how I feel politically. But even then, even with that, like, I still get ads and posts and other things from, like, the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and it really bums me out. Facebook really, really, really sucks. And I do not know why they share, like, fucking, like, Ben Shapiro stuff with me. Like, I just gave away how I feel politically. I don't know why they share that nonsense with me, because, like, I don't like it. I don't engage with it. And it's really annoying. Facebook totally has an agenda. Can't wait for them to take this video down, my page down, and all that. But yeah, that was a random thing. But anyway, stuff like that, stuff like those ads and the stuff that I see all the time, it's really frustrating. I got just, like, tired of seeing, like, things on Facebook that just really bummed me out. So I thought, like, a couple years ago, I'm going to start sharing things that make me happy. And one of the things that came about from that was, like, every Friday I share a picture of Laura Dern. She's the world's greatest actress. She's wonderful. She's the best part of any movie that she's in. She makes me super happy. And so I share a picture of her every Friday, or every Friday, because of course. I'm gonna keep doing that for a long time, either until I die or until I get a picture with Laura Dern, whichever comes first. Probably would happen at the same time, me getting a picture with Laura Dern, going into cardiac arrest and then dying. But yeah, I still do that. Super fun. I still get like people telling me how much they enjoy Friday posts, and that warms my heart. That makes me happy. I'm glad that it's working. The thing I wanted to do, spread joy, is working, and that's really cool. Friday is going to keep on happening. It might be on hiatus right now because I'm in the Philippines and I can't schedule Friday posts like I can schedule posts like this. So hopefully it's not. But even if it is, it will be back. And even if it is, before I left, you saw it. I just made a post of like 7 Laura Dern pictures or whatever, just to occupy the space of the break if a break were to occur. So yeah, I keep doing Friday posts, and that's really fun to do. Really, at this time, I've not seen Little Women yet, but I'm really, really excited for it. That's my Star Wars, Little Women, directed by Greta Gerwig. But that's a thing that I've done in 2019 to be seen, and that's a thing that's going to keep happening in the year 2020, unless I get a picture with Laura Dern, then things will get cut off. The last like creative project I was really involved in that I can think of, off the top of my head, is At Witch Tweets. At Witch Tweets. It happens every October. There's a few random things thrown in sporadically throughout the year, but every October, post a bunch of tweets from the perspective of a witch on Twitter. Twitter is also a bad website, but I really like doing terrible jokes as a witch on Twitter. And this year I did it, and lots of fun. So always fun to do At Witch Tweets. That's another thing that only a handful of people are into, but don't matter. It's all good. I have a couple of like big plans for At Witch Tweets and the character that tweets the witch. I have a couple of plans for the witch this year, for the year 2020, that I'm really excited about, and I hope pan out pretty well, because they're things I've been thinking about for a long time. And I don't know, I'm just excited to do witch tweet things, because it really does, like, they're terrible like Crypt Keeper style jokes but in tweet form, and I don't know, just like spooky jokes, like, they kill me. They're my favorite. So I'm really excited about At Witch Tweets. I mentioned Puffin earlier, and I mentioned like spooky jokes just now. One of the things I forgot to mention, I made a music video for a song I did on Puffin, The Monster Stash. It's a parody of the Monster Mash, but about smoking weed, because I'm very, very clever. The biggest thing that changed about me as a human being in the year 2019 was that I started smoking weed. You didn't hear that, though. Anyway, I'm a little embarrassed that I shared that, but it's all good. No one's going to watch this. So yeah, I did a lot of creative things in the year 2019, and I'm going to keep that ball rolling in the year 2020. As I said, Kevern is on the horizon. Some fun witch tweets things, fingers crossed, are on the horizon. Some other things I want to do are on the horizon. I just haven't quite pegged exactly like what I'm going to pursue. So that's going to happen in the year 2020. One of the things that Scene in 19 referred to was my own kind of like well-being, my own mental health and emotional health. And I wanted to tend to that more in the year 2019. And through the help of just some really, 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 really incredible people, really incredible women at Mindful Therapy Group in Mount Lake Terrace in Washington, I was able to do that. Mindful Therapy Group was a godsend, and they were helping me. They always say, like, the people I work with, like, there say, like, oh, you had it in you all along, but when you've got, like, mental duress, when you're under mental duress and you're struggling, you know, you don't know what you're capable of. You don't know what you can do. So, like, they say that, like, I had the tools in me all along, but, like, they helped, like, dig those up. And I'm really appreciative of that. I'm really appreciative of them for that. So, I've been taking care of myself up here and in here, wherever my heart is, in 2019 with a lot of their help. I've been doing a lot of things just to make sure I'm on the right track, helping me become, like, more mindful, and it's been really, really, really good for me. I feel like I turned 30 this year, but, like, in a lot of ways, I feel like this year was the first year that I lived, because I was able to, you know, enjoy things. I had days where I was able to, you know, get out of bed, you know, just experience joy, and becoming mindful was a big help in getting that done. Hello, Reagan. She's going to jump up on me, even though she shouldn't, and she knows that she's not supposed to. But being mindful is a big deal for me. Hi, babe. I'm making a video. She hates it. This dog hates it. Like, so I have my desktop that I work at, and my, you know, a desk that it sits on, because it is a desktop. And she gets so upset whenever I'm working on my computer. She'll do that thing where she'll, like, stick her nose underneath my arm that's on the mouse, and lift my arm that's off the mouse. She hates it whenever I, like, work on my computer. Or, like, I'll record with Kevin, and I'll have to set up my microphone, like, in the closet, because it's the most, like, it's the tiniest room, and you don't have, like, this echoiness that you get in here. And she hates that too. And, like, we've got sliding closet doors, and she'll use her nose to open that up, just so she can see what I'm doing. She just hates when attention is not devoted 100% to her. Prior to me setting up this camera, she was just laying there on the floor asleep, but I set up the camera and started talking, and then, like, gotta chew her toy right into the microphone, gotta hop up on my lap, gotta sniff the fireplace that she's doing now. She's I love the dog, but she's a handful sometimes. I do love her though. Anyway, I was talking about Mindful Therapy Group and becoming mindful. Even though, like, I've made, like, tons of progress with, like, kind of finding out how I think and how I feel and why things affect me the way I do. I've made tons of progress with that. Like, I still feel like I'm on my first few steps of this journey towards mindfulness and towards, like, unlocking, like, an inner peace or whatever. But it feels really good. It feels really good to kind of, like, work out some skeletons and work out some demons and things like that. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. That was me purging demons and problems that I had with mindfulness. I was talking about mindfulness, and all this negative stuff came out. But yeah, going to counseling and the wonderful people at Mindful Therapy Group has just been incredible for me. I feel like a new person through Mindful Therapy Group. Really sucks, however it is, because I'm moving to Utah, so I can't keep going to Mindful Therapy Group. And that really sucks because, like, through sharing like turmoil and through sharing like all this like not fun stuff with these wonderful people, like I've become friendly with them, and I've formed like real relationships with them, and so it's gonna really suck like not having them every Friday or every Wednesday or whenever I was going. It's gonna really suck not having get to see those faces every week on a weekly basis anymore. But I'm gonna keep pursuing becoming mindful, and I'm gonna keep pursuing like taking care of myself mentally and emotionally. And so I'll meet new people. I'll find new providers in 2020, and I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited, to be happy and to feel like loved and to feel like excitement and feel things like that, because not something I'm familiar with, and it's kind of crummy, but it feels great to feel like excited and to feel loved and to feel all that good or the sort of good stuff. And Mindful Therapy Group at Mount Lake Terrace got me started on that, and I'm going to keep pursuing that in 2020. And that's another one of the ways I'm going to be seen in 2019, or that I was seen in 19, and that I've got a slogan for 2020. I'm going to wait to the very end to announce it or whatever, but I'm going to keep up the stuff I was doing in 2019 in 2020. And I lost her words suddenly. I should probably drink some water, but I'm not going to. So yeah, I was working on creative things throughout this year. I was working on mental and emotional things in 2019. The third thing that Scene in 19 referred to, and this is the big guy, is my movie, Pet Turtles. Now, anyone who knows me knows that... Just checking my microphone. She knocked it, and I want to make sure it was still on. Pet Turtles is still not done. And that is a colossal bummer to me. I've done all these other videos, like Puffin things. I've done like Puffin, podcast projects, video projects, other creative projects. I've worked on myself like mentally and emotionally. I've made great strides in the year 2019 towards like my goal of being seen in 19, all that stuff. I've made big strides, but I haven't finished Pet Turtles. And it just kind of feels like I've completed all the side quests of a video game, but I haven't finished the game. Like, I haven't defeated the final boss. And Super Mario Odyssey, you can't get all the moons, the power moons, without beating Bowser. But it feels like I've done just that. I feel like I've gotten 998 power moons in Super Mario Odyssey, but I haven't beaten Bowser. And Pet Turtles is Bowser in this case. Not that Pet Turtles is an evil monster that kidnapped a princess. Just that Pet Turtles involves a creature with a shell. So, like, it feels really good to, like, have done all this other stuff, but obviously there's that big thing of, like, this movie's not done yet. And that really kind of bums me out. Really kind of sucks that it's not done for a lot of reasons. Biggest of all is, like, movie is super good. I know I'm biased, and I know that I'm the guy that wrote it and directed it and edited it. I know, like, I've been one of the primary driving forces behind it, so naturally I'm biased, but it's the kind of movie that I would go out and see in theaters if I saw it was, playing. It's the kind of movie that I would get really excited about. As I said in the first one of these I did, it's just the kind of... I knew it was the first movie I was ever going to make, but I also knew it could potentially be the last movie I ever made. And so by that virtue, I wanted to make something I was proud of and something that was meaningful to me. And I did it with Pet Turtles. Pet Turtles, as I said, is just, it's the kind of movie I would love to see in theaters. It's the kind of movie that I get really excited for. And so that's a big reason like why I'm bummed it's not finished yet, because it's a movie I want to see. I mean, I've seen it, I've edited it. And I say it's not done. Let me kind of clarify what that means. So, like, the movie is edited. It's at Picture Lock. And what that means for non-film people, and not that I'm a film person, but what that means is just like, Picture Lock means visually, it's where it needs to be. The scene that is at scene 7 is always going to be at scene 7. The shot that exists at 10 minutes is always going to exist at 10 minutes and be however long it is in the thing. Picture-wise, it's done. Like, it needs color grading and color timing and all that sort of good stuff. And that's going to happen. But visually, you know, it's, with the exception of color timing and all that, it's done. The big thing that's taken forever with it has been audio. There's that old joke of why does lightning come before thunder? Because even God waits on audio. And that's kind of just like where we've been. I know, like, I've made a lot of posts about like the audio's almost done, blah, 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 blah. What had happened was someone was working on it at the beginning of the year. I found someone to work on the audio for Pet Turtles at the beginning of the year. But the project is really big, and that person who I found had a hard out, and I think like the project was just too big, and I think like they just had too much on their plate to get it done. And so they got it to a point where like it could be handed off to the next person, and it was handed off to a new person. I'm working with this guy, Justin, and Justin has been absolutely great. But like when Justin found it, because he was coming into a territory that like he didn't know like what had been done and what hadn't been done. Like he could get a sense of it, but like it was just more. He told me just like, I can work with this, or it'd be better if I just kind of like started over on this. And audio, having good audio having a movie that you can hear is really important to me. So I signed off on that. So like for half the year, we were working on the audio and we got to a finishing point, and then we had to start over. And so that's why like, you know, like if the movie I think could have been done had it not for like been for audio problems. But as much as I want the movie done, I want the movie done right. And as much as I want it to be like seen, I also want it to be heard. And so ultimately just like I'm okay with it taking forever if it means that whenever it is finished and whenever you can see it, it is the version of it that needs to be seen. I've been working with Pet Turtles since 2016. It's been a labor of love. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But whenever I look at it on the editing timeline on my desktop in there, like even with all the rough audio and even with like shots not matching due to color timing, and even due to, even with all of its imperfections, I can see what it's supposed to be. But until it is done, until the audio is done, and until the color timing and all that stuff is done, the score is added, no one else is going to be able to see it as it's supposed to be seen. And so, I know like I know I will never be able to get it exactly as it is in my head, but I can keep trying. And so whenever it is done, I want to make sure it is done. I want to make sure it's done in a way that like, whenever I look at it, there's no doubts to its to its state of being done, if that makes any sense at all. Whenever it is done, I want you guys to see what I see in it, if that makes any sense. And so if that means taking, working with the audio for a long time, that's what it means. The good news is we're back at that sort of finished audio state that we were again. And I'm really excited about that. What needs to happen next is ADR. That's big fancy term for essentially just like getting the actors in certain scenes to come back into a studio and kind of like lip sync their performances. Being a movie that was shot for $7, we weren't afforded like a lot of things that big Hollywood productions are afforded. And so like there's some just like rough stuff in it in terms of audio. A lot of the movie takes place outside at a cemetery, and the one cemetery that we could film at was like downwind from an airport. And so like we can cover up the sounds of like footsteps and like sticks breaking and people carrying baskets with new recordings of that, but you can't cover up. The only way you can cover up like messy like dialogue is just by re-recording that dialogue. You can fake sound effects, but you can't fake like the primary sound. So ADR needs to happen on a handful of the scenes, and I knew that was going to be this way for a long time. But just a matter of like getting that scheduled now that we know exactly what scenes need it, and now that we know exactly what people need to be there. It's got to schedule that, and then on top of that, like finding a studio to record it all in, all that stuff. Also, getting the funds for all that, because there was not a lot of money going into the production of Pet Turtles, and all the money that we kind of set aside for getting Pet Turtles done went into the production of Pet Turtles. Whenever it came time to edit the movie, there was no Pet Turtles money left. And normally in like budgets for movies, there's your pre-production budget, your production budget, and your post-production budget. Pet Turtles was made for $7 or so, and it all went into the production budget. And so like the post-production stuff, like luckily I can edit the thing myself, but like I can't do audio. I can't do it right by myself. I'm not musical at all, so I can't like record the score myself. I can't color time it myself. Well, I could, but I would do it badly. And the movie, I don't want that to happen. I want the best version of the movie to be seen. So like with like scheduling the ADR and scheduling the actors for that and all the remaining stuff, like there's the thing of like getting the funds for it. The hard part, but it's going to happen. As I said, just earlier, like I want the movie to be done, but I want the movie to be done right. And I didn't realize going into Pet Turtles, or I was just foolish, intentionally looking the other way going into Pet Turtles, just like how much time and money and effort and everything else goes into getting it done right. But I love Pet Turtles. I love this movie. Working on Pet Turtles it's been stressful, but it's provided some of the best days of my life. Those 18 days or however long that we shot it in at the end of 2017 were just like, God, some of the best days of my life. Even if I was just exhausted and tired and sleeping like a couple hours every night or whatever, like it was just the best days of my life. And there was just nothing I enjoyed more than just getting to spend every single day with just like some of my closest friends, with Forrest and Kevin and Larry and Adam and Larissa, and just like getting just to see the most talented people I know work, and work together and work on something that like I wrote was just like an incredible experience for me. I may have talked about this earlier, but like shortly after Larissa agreed to play Becky in Pet Turtles, I went and saw her in a production of Celebration, and I saw her on stage singing and acting, and like just started like weeping in my seat, and it just like was so like incredible that like this person is so talented and they're going to work on something that I'm making, and they want to say my words that I wrote. And just like getting to spend 2 weeks with people like Larissa and Larry, and all the cast and crew was just the best experience. And like I think working on the movie maybe killed my friend Forrest's back, but it was just so cool watching Forrest work and just spending so much time, long hours, making art with my best friends. And that was just the best experience I've ever had in my whole life. And I owe it to the people who made that experience possible, and I owe it to that experience that whenever this result of their hard work is done, that it's done the best way it can be. I owe it to them to like put out the best version of it, not a half-assed version of it. And so, what's that thing, like you can make it fast, you can make it cheap, or you can make it good, but you can't do all three. I'm making it good and I'm making it cheap, but it's at the expense of making it fast. It's taken a lot of time, and it's going to take even more time, and I guess that's what you should expect from a movie called Pet Turtles. But I honestly believe, and I know I'm biased, but I honestly believe, and just in my heart of hearts, that like all this time that it's taken has been worth it, and it's going to be worth it. Considering that there's only just like there's still a lot to do, but it's a little bit compared to like filming it. That's the other thing, like, God, it's taken forever to finish the movie, but not as long as it took to like start the movie. There's so many times we passed the date that we're like, all right, we're gonna film this movie 3 times before we started filming it. And there was a lot of time where I was just kind of like really worried and kind of convinced that, I don't know what my dog's doing. There was a lot of time where I was just kind of worried and convinced that like the movie was always going to be words on a page. And it wasn't until like lots of hard work and lots of just like really incredibly kind people, like the people who donated to the Indiegogo, and it's like it wasn't until like a lots of kindness and generosity from people that like didn't have to give it up, didn't have to give those things up. It wasn't until all that happened that like we could even start it. And so like because of kindness and generosity and determination from just like incredible people that like donated, and incredible people who just like let us film in their property for a day or 2 days, or there's people who worked on it, who gave their money to it, or whatever it is, like they made it actually happen. And the post-production process is like a lonely process. And it is an expensive process, and so like there's a lot of times where I just kind of feel like by myself on the finishing of the movie portion of it, but it's okay, because things that happen slowly still happen. So it's taking forever to finish this movie, but it will be finished. as God is my witness, it's going to happen. As I said, we still have a lot to do, but we did the hard part. Like, what's left is difficult, but we already accomplished the impossible part of it. So we're in good shape. It's just, just finding money, finding time, finding people, just all that sort of good stuff. But it's going to happen. And I guess with that, that finally leads me into, my mantra for the year 2020. I talked all about how last year was seen in 19. And last year, I talked about how I feel like I've completed the side quests, but not the main game. This year, I want to beat Bowser. This year, I want to complete the main game. So my mantra, my slogan, my whatever, for the year 2020, and this is cumbersome and awkward and difficult, but I wouldn't have it any other way. My mantra for this year is getting it done in 2020. Sounds terrible, but it's what I need to. It's what I need to remind myself of. And getting it done in 2020. It also refers to a lot of things. It refers to I'm going to continue the things that I was doing in 2019. I'm going to continue doing little projects. I'm going to continue making weird things. I'm going to continue doing jokes and just finding things that I enjoy doing. I'm going to continue taking care of myself mentally and emotionally. I'm going to find a new provider. I'm going to keep taking care of myself mentally and making sure I'm at a good place. I'm going to keep doing all that stuff that I was doing in 2019. I'm going to keep doing that in the year 2020. And I want to do the best that I possibly can at those things. But this year, I want to get this movie done. I need to get this movie done. I want you guys to see it. I'm so proud of it. I love this movie so much. Everyone who worked on it worked so hard. And it's not fair to them that it's just sitting on a hard drive, not being seen. I want to get it finished, but I want to get it finished right, so that these people's hard work and effort can be seen by you, and you can see the thing that you donated money to, or that you donated your location to, or that you donated your food to, or whatever it is. I want you to be able to see it because I know I'm biased, but it's good as hell. I am so proud of this movie, and it's got so much to say, and I think it says it really eloquently. I can't say things eloquently, but I think this movie does. And this movie is unique, and it's different, but unique and different in a good way. And it has a lot of heart, and it's... I won't go too much into this, but Pet Turtles was made at kind of a rough period in my life. It was inspired by a rough period of my life. There was a time in my life where things were really hard for me, and part of why things were hard for me was because I felt just really alone in it. Pet Turtles deals it's in the synopsis of the movie that Lyle inherits 2 pet turtles when his mom dies. So obviously, Pet Turtles was inspired by a time where I was reeling from a couple deaths that had happened to me. Not that happened to me, but happened to people that were close to me. You know what I'm trying to say. I went through just a really rough time, and part of what made that time so rough for me was how alone I felt in it. And if I had seen Pet Turtles during that time that I was really struggling and felt alone, if I had seen Pet Turtles during that time, I wouldn't have been struggling as much, and I wouldn't have felt alone, because this movie addresses a lot of the concerns I was feeling. I was really struggling at that time, and I was just God, I wish I could find some sort of art or something that was kind of put a Band-Aid on this and made it feel better for me and made me feel not so alone. But I couldn't find that art, so like I made it with some of my friends and people that are really important to me. And so there's, on top of everyone working on it, everyone who worked on it working so hard and wanting to get their work seen and everything, like I want Pet Turtles to be seen so that if there's anyone else who is feeling alone and struggling with some like really big things that can happen to you in life, I want them to be able to see Pet Turtles so that like those things aren't as big as a struggle for them and that they don't feel as alone. But Pet Turtles wouldn't be able to connect with them as much if it weren't done the best that it possibly can be. And so that's why I'm working so hard at making it done the best way that it possibly can be. And that's why it's taking a long time and why it's taking money I don't have. And why it's going to keep doing that. But I honestly, genuinely, 100% believe in my heart that all this time and all this money and all this time you've spent not seeing it is going to be worth it for the final product. I love this movie. And I want to get it done in 2020 so that you can see it and that you can love it too. And also because like, man, it'll be nice to kind of get this project out of, like, not worry about it. I've been thinking of Pet Turtles every day since 2016 now. And I want to work on other things. I want to work on other projects and make more things, other big things. But a lot of my brain is occupied by Pet Turtles right now and occupied by it not being done and how we can get it done. And the only way to alleviate that tension is by finishing the movie. And so that's what we're going to do. Damn it. In the year 2020. My dog is really, really upset. I think she wants to go out. I think that's what's going on. But also, she just doesn't like it whenever I'm not giving attention to her. She's licking my hand right now. That's what you're hearing. So, yes. This was my follow-up vlog, how I did in 2019. As I said, I think I did pretty good with the exception of the big thing, and that's getting Pet Turtles done. But it's going to happen in 2020. That's my primary goal, is getting it done in 2020. And I think it's going to happen. I think this is wood. This is wood, right? So, I can't really think of anything else I had. I think I said it all. I don't know how long I've been talking for. 40 minutes? 50 minutes? An hour? I don't know. My LCD screen on my camcorder's burnt out, so I can't see the time code on it anymore. Hi, Reagan. So this is a sign right here that I need to wrap it up, B. You done? You good? So, Reagan, let me finish. Let me finish, Reagan. Let me finish! Hey, what is this? 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 Go get it. It almost worked. I almost distracted her. In summation, this could have been over 5 minutes ago, Reagan. In summation, I did a lot in 2019 that I'm really proud of. Did a lot of work that I'm really proud of. A lot of hard work, a lot of good work. I don't know about good work, but work that I enjoy. And I'm absolutely positively going to keep doing that in 2019. Or in 2020, rather. My hair's all tangled. And thanks, Reagan. I'm going to keep doing that in 2020. But also, I want to get this damn movie done. Because I love this movie and I want people to see it. So that's all I got. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I'm going to walk my dog and I'm going to feed my dog too. Because she's very upset with me right now. But hey, this is how I wanted to end it. I didn't want to just cut things off. I just wanted to say, I said last year in my blog, or earlier this year, or however you want to put it. She knocked the microphone down. I said earlier in my previous vlog that I realized that I'm the target audience for my things, and that's okay. And in a lot of ways, that's true. I'm not a big time YouTuber, or I'm not a big Instagram influencer or anything like that. I'm not even a Z-list celebrity. And like, ultimately I do make things that only I want to see. And I am the target audience for my stuff. No one else, I don't know. But, words are hard. All that being said, I do really appreciate when folks pay attention. I do really appreciate that. Like, I was talking earlier about how I hear about people enjoying Fry Derns, my pictures of Laura Derns that I share every Friday, and like that means a lot. And I heard a lot of good feedback on like my Instagram jokes whenever I was doing that, and I don't get it as much because I don't know anyone in Washington. But I get a lot of folks like asking about like if Pet Turtles is done, and I appreciate all that stuff, because like there's just a lot of noise in the world, and there's a lot of just like it's a cacophony, if I'm pronouncing that right. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and I feel like we all kind of struggle with like not feeling heard, and not feeling like acknowledged, and not feeling like we're worth anyone's time or effort. And there's all sorts of people that like have that's their whole lives. They feel like their entire lives are just not paid attention to, or not, they don't feel heard or whatever. And that's really unfortunate, and that's really sad. But there's just like a lot going on in the world, and we all kind of, I think, struggle with not feeling heard, and not feeling like, just kind of feeling like everything we're doing has been done in vain or whatever. And so with that, like, I do really appreciate, like, I know I've made a lot of jokes on here about like no one watches these and no one pays attention to my YouTube or whatever. I know I made a lot of jokes, but like, I do really appreciate those few views and those few comments and few whatever that I do get. It means a lot to me, because even though I am making stuff for me, even though I am the target audience for this stuff, like, it's stuff that I enjoy, and it's nice to hear that other people enjoy the things that I enjoy, even if it's things that I'm making, if that makes any sense. So like, I just want to say, like, for all you folks that like have commented or liked things that I've posted, or commented or reacted or just talked to me about it in person, whatever it is, like, I really do appreciate it. My default thing, whenever someone says like, oh, I saw that thing you posted or whatever, my default thing to say is like, oh, I'm sorry. And that's just me trying to make a joke, because that's my primary way of dealing with anything, is by making a joke about it. But underneath that joke is an appreciation. I do appreciate the comments and the reactions and the views and all that, no matter how few or far in between they all may be. I do appreciate it all, because we're all kind of, I feel like we're all kind of drowning, and we're all trying to, like, we're all struggling to keep our heads up and get those breaths of air or whatever. And those comments and those views and reactions and all that stuff, like, those are little, like, life-saving breaths or whatever. I don't know how to put it. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't have a big corner of the internet. I don't have a big corner of the world. I don't have a very loud microphone or whatever. So like, the people who do see and hear like what I put out there, like, go towards it. And I appreciate that. So if you like my stuff and if you watch my stuff or whatever, even if you just like scrolled past it, I appreciate it. I know I'm just making stuff for me, but it feels very nice to be heard and to be seen and be witnessed. So so thank you for paying attention to this long-haired creep with a beard who talks for an hour into his microphone or into his camera and then doesn't edit it. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate you all. And I really appreciate you guys just being on this journey with me. I've had my YouTube for over a decade now, and I've uploaded. It's been a long time since I've uploaded Vern Feels Like Dancing or whatever. And it's been a long time since I've made like things like Mish. But there's folks that have been with me since day one. And I appreciate that. I just appreciate you guys watching the stuff that I make and listening to what I have to say. And even if you don't like it, I appreciate you paying attention. So thank you guys so much. I hope that you enjoy pet turtles. I know I will. But I hope, just hope you enjoy, like, I appreciate you guys taking in what I've done in the past, and I hope that you're excited for what I've got in the pipeline for the future. I hope you're excited for like what I'm going to be making in the future, because it's all stuff I'm excited about and stuff that I enjoy and stuff that's meaningful to me. So hopefully it'll be meaningful to you and that you'll enjoy it. But regardless, whether you enjoy it or not, I appreciate you checking it out and helping me feel heard. So thank you so much. I'm going to feed my dog and walk her. She's staring outside right now. She's a cute dog. She does that whole thing where she's jumping in my lap earlier. She does that a whole lot. And it's a little annoying. But I love her just the same. And I love you guys. So, peace out, Cub Scouts. We're getting it done in 2020. Oh, and then I'm going to put up some things that I made this year for the end slate. And the end slates last 20 seconds. So let's go ahead and set that timer for 20 seconds. All right. Thanks for watching. 20 seconds. Here we go. And you can click on any of this stuff surrounding me. And if you don't want to, that's fine too.